and let us all do we can to build a better future.
There's a big red wave coming at us. No, not a communist Soviet Russian.
Oh, I was thinking of something else.
No, no. Oh.
I think it's from being a woman. That's where I was like, whoa, that doesn't sound like fun.
I'm glad that we all literally thought of a different red tide.
Okay. Well, all right. Hey, try and keep it classy here, folks. Okay? The Wednesday show is always fun. The F stands for fun on Wednesday. So there you go.
The Wednesday show.
The
Wednesday show.
The Wednesday show. There we go. See, because, again, you have fun on the Wednesday show. So what is going on? Well, apparently the Democrats are facing uncertainty for the midterms. All the while, did you know this? That Nancy is potentially preparing her throne for her successor. I know. What's going on with that? Well, first, let's talk about the failure of the Democrats. The Democrats are working on their midterm messaging to meet the changing national sentiment on COVID-19, hoping to strike the right balance between optimism and realism in the midst of virus fatigue. Aiming to show cohesion against Republicans, Democrats in the White House, to election pollsters and operatives in battleground states, are forming internal strategies with the goal of offering a more tailored public version for a country easing off of debilitating restrictions. Republicans scoff at these efforts. They claim voters who have abandoned Democrats since President Biden took office are responding to unpopular policies and a massive lurch to the left by the Democratic Party. While political headwinds and November map are challenging for the party in power during midterms, Democrats say that the facts about the coronavirus currently meet the electoral politics they need for success. The science is on their side. The science is on their side.
I was blinded by science.
Adding that they just need the message to match. So, continuing on, it's important that the Democrats communicate a plan, leadership, setting clear metrics, and following the science, said Salida Lake, a top pollster for Biden during his 2020 campaign. That can vary by states as conditions vary, and it depends on how red the state is. Almost sounds like they're talking about body parts. Almost.
It does.
How red is the state? Is it light red or is it dark red? And so, there's a lot to take away from this article. But I want to pull up this video from Case Study QB. So, again, Democrats, you could have, in theory, done some great things, but you chose not to. Let's play this video.
30, count them, 30 House Democrats so far not seeking re-election in November, setting the scene for a shellacking for the party in the midterms. Also, clearing the way for a smaller but more liberal Democratic caucus after the dust settles on 2022, with younger, upstart progressives who won't have to face incumbents in safe blue districts, including down in Texas, where the first primary will happen 1 week from tomorrow, and Jasmine Crockett, the most liberal member of the state House of Representatives in the Lone Star State, has been endorsed for the U.S. House by the retiring Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Crockett told NBC News, Johnson ended up saying, I think it's time for me to retire, and I think you should be the one to replace me. For who she is, before they ever had a name for it, she has been progressive. She's just the 86-year-old version of a progressive. Joining us now, MSNBC political analyst Cornell Belcher, president of Brilliant Corners Research and Republican strategist and MSNBC.
What is considered progressive 87 years ago might not be considered progressive today.
I know, as I was listening to that story, because I was getting ready while I was listening to these stories, so I didn't have a lot of time to do research. I was like, crap, I should have looked at because progressive now is just such a muddied word at this point.
Progressive 87 years ago is like, hey, maybe segregation isn't useful.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. Let's play the rest of it.
NBC contributor Mike Murphy, two of the smartest people I know about politics. Cornell, starting with you right now, do you take it for granted that those 30 retirements basically spell not certain doom, but make it very difficult for Democrats to hold on to control of the House of Representatives in November?
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's also part of a pattern, right? You've seen this happen in off years, both for Democrats as well as Republicans. It's not surprising you have a large number of retirements. You saw a large number of Republican retirements in the last off year. But let's be clear, it is harder to defend an open seat than to defend an incumbent seat. Now, part of the good news for Democrats is that many of these seats, in fact, I think most of these seats are, quite frankly, not seats that are safely or leaning Democrat. That's, of course, because of the power of incumbency. But to your point about progressives, I would caution you one little bit about progressives, because we have not seen on the left the sort of coming together and around an organization or an individual that sort of unifies the left the way I think you've seen Trump do on the right. And for every AOC out there, there's a lot of moderate Democrats who've come through in the primary and won. And the most recent one I'm thinking is in Ohio 11.
Yeah. So Cordell, just sticking with you.
I'm
What
so
do you? As you look,
Okay. So they never mention this in this clip, but they do mention Ohio 11 a couple times as proof that a progressive cannot win against a moderate. Ohio 11 was Shontel Brown versus Nina Turner.
Right.
I think we all know what happened in that race, and they never give that context in this clip. What happened in that race was Nina Turner was kicking her butt. And then Hillary went and made a freaking endorsement of Shontel Brown, some rando, and of all the candidates, like, oh, this one will do our bidding. And then all this money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, flooded in from a bunch of rich people and a bunch of basically super PACs, and that's how that moderate won against that progressive. To be clear, for context.
I think that's a good segue, too. Go ahead, Daniel.
I was going to say, this is from E. Heller. Fair point. I was wondering where I saw this guy before. I didn't realize the Six Flags guy got promoted so far up.
That is hilarious.
Well, Kevin, YouTube might copyright us for that one. But yeah, he does look like a guy from Six Flags. Or to quote Daniel, he's a living thumb. But, I think that's important to segue into this, because I'm glad that you guys acknowledge what happened in the 11th Ohio Congressional District.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the Democrats are walking into a slaughter. This whole idea of reforming the Democratic Party will never happen. And I want to pull up this tweet here, because here's why the Democrats are going to get messed up. It's because of leadership. So this person who has been on our show before, give it up to Sahid Bitar. He was one of the few candidates to actually earn a lot of votes during his run against Nancy Pelosi during the last election cycle. Not for the first time, Puck News and Politico have reported on the future of Nancy Pelosi's seat in stories mentioning. Can we zoom out, or is that all that's in there? Mentioning only wealthy white candidates who are not running, while ignoring entirely the. Can we zoom out a little bit further?
Oh, the side of it's clipping.
The side of it's clipping off. There we go.
There we go.
Mentioning white candidates who are not running, while ignoring entirely the immigrant in the race who won more votes than the previous challenger. So what is he talking about? I want to read this article from Puck News. Steve Jobs' heir imagines his post-Pelosi future. Earlier this month, I described the early political jockeying to succeed Representative Nancy Pelosi, who is widely expected to step down sometime next year if Republicans retake the House. Inside her hometown of San Francisco, the race is viewed as essentially a two-person contest between moderate Scott Weiner and the state senator and more progressive Christine Pelosi.
I think I've heard that last name before.
A longtime Democratic organizer and middle daughter of the city's royal family. Huh. Did we have a revolution to get rid of monarchs? I thought we did. Kira, did we?
They're back.
Oh, they're back. There are monarchs, though. We got feudalism
You
again.
know how things kind of go out of style.
Yeah,
and
this
then
whole
come
idea
back
of
in
voting.
style.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're going to be wearing bell bottoms in like a decade.
Great. Oh, can we put plastic on our furniture now too? Great. Bring up that stuff in the 70s. So there we go. More recently, however, another dynastic name has come up in the conversations and is one that deeply intrigues me for symbolic reasons. Reed Jobs, the eldest son of Lawrence Powell Jobs and, of course, the late Steve Jobs. Reed manages health investments of Immersive Collective, his family's hybrid family office, philanthropy, and political advocacy shop, and is passionate above all else about efforts to cure cancer. Gee, I thought Biden promised to cure cancer. Oh, well.
No, Obama promised Biden would cure cancer.
Ah, okay. Which claimed the life of his father a decade ago. He is also very involved with his family's nascent climate foundation, but the 30-year-old Jobs also loves politics, and he has long told people that he's definitely interested in running for something down the line. According to people who have talked with him, sometimes he has brought up Pelosi's congressional seat in particular. One person who has talked politics with him said Reed, as late as early last year, told him that he would strongly consider running for the seat after Pelosi retired. Reed declined to comment for this story, and a person close to him pushed back on. All right, I guess that's it for the free article. I can't read anymore, so there we go. All right.
We got to pay for it. Or give your email address.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
Sometimes it's fair.
But I think it's important to really look at this because we did cover on the show that Nancy is running for re-election for her 18th term in Congress. She's in her 80s. What is she thinking? But this is the issue that we're having with our current political system. Is if the seat isn't given up to a relative of theirs, these politicians, it will go to somebody who is also rich. That's how this system works. We have basically perfected feudalism in this country. We live in an oligarchy where only the rich can run. And if they're in power for a very long time, their children and their grandchildren will inherit that congressional seat, that U.S. Senate seat, that presidential office. That's what we've done. We've created mini monarchs in this country. And the Democratic Party has associated itself with dynastic names, be it at the state level, with Madigan or Daley or Pritzker, here in Illinois, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know New York has the Cuomos. But wait, that's a problem nationwide. Because let's look at the dynasties that are in control of the Democratic Party as a whole. You got your Obamas, you got your Kennedys, you got your Clintons, just to name a few, including the Pelosi's. Why not? Throw her name in there. She's earned it, right? Democrats, vote blue no matter who. You're walking into a slaughter, and there's nothing anyone can do to save you. But at this point, we got to abolish political parties, we got to get money out of politics, and we have to build movements and organizations outside the influence of the swamp bubble of Washington, D.C. You cannot reform the Democratic Party, and you cannot reform the Republican Party, because they only care for their donors. I hope everyone wakes up to this fact during the midterms.